The night was supposed to be perfect. The grand ballroom shimmered under crystal chandeliers, casting golden light across the dance floor. Laughter and music filled the air, and the scent of fresh roses mixed with the sweet aroma of champagne. It was the kind of wedding most people could only dream of, elegant, extravagant, and flawless. But Michael Carter knew better. Standing near the bar, he observed the celebration, his sharp eyes scanning the crowd. As the billionaire head of the Carter family, he had spent years protecting those he loved, building an empire not just of wealth, but of power. His younger brother, Danny, deserved this moment of happiness. And yet, despite the perfection of the evening, a feeling of unease gnawed at Michael. Something was wrong. He could sense it. Then, he saw him. A man in a cheap, ill-fitted suit stood near the far-left table, gripping a sleek black briefcase like his life depended on it. Unlike the other guests who were laughing and toasting, this man's eyes darted nervously around the room. His posture was stiff, his presence out of place. Michael's instincts, the same ones that had saved him countless times in the business, "World!" screamed at him. This wasn't just some lost guest. This was something else, something dangerous. He leaned toward his head of security. "Greg, see that man near the side door, the one with the briefcase?" Greg followed his gaze and frowned. "Yeah, he doesn't belong here. Run a check on him. Now." Greg nodded and slipped away into the crowd. Michael's heartbeat quickened. He wasn't the kind of man to panic, but he had learned to trust his gut. And his gut was telling him that whatever was inside that briefcase was about to change everything. Across the room, Danny and his bride, Charlotte, stepped onto the dance floor for their first dance. The guests erupted into applause, their attention fixed on the couple. But Michael wasn't watching them. His focus remained on the stranger, who was slowly inching toward the ballroom's side exit. Greg returned, his face grim. "He's not on the guest list. And that briefcase? It's suspicious. He's acting like he's hiding something." Michael didn't hesitate. "Follow him, and don't let him out of your sight." As Greg moved in, Michael followed a few steps behind, his jaw tight. The man slipped through the side exit, stepping into a dimly lit corridor. Michael quickened his pace. "Excuse me," he called, his voice calm but firm. The man froze. Michael took another step forward. "I'd like to have a word with you." The man turned slowly, his face pale, his forehead damp with sweat. I'm just delivering something," he stammered. Michael didn't believe him for a second. "What's in the briefcase?" The man's grip tightened, his breathing quickened. Then, without warning, he ran. "Stop him!" Michael shouted. Greg lunged. The man crashed to the ground. The briefcase hit the floor with a thud. And then, Michael heard it. A soft but unmistakable ticking sound. His blood ran cold. This was no ordinary delivery. This was a warning. And if Michael didn't act fast, this wedding was about to turn into a nightmare. Greg's grip tightened around the man's collar, pinning him to the ground as Michael stared at the briefcase. The ticking sound echoed in his ears, steady, deliberate, like a countdown to something they couldn't afford to ignore. For a split second, time seemed to slow. Then, Michael snapped into action. "Get everyone out of the ballroom. Now." His voice was sharp, urgent. Greg nodded, dragging the man up with one arm while pulling out his earpiece with the other. "This is security," he barked into the mic. "Evacuate the ballroom immediately. No exceptions." Michael barely registered the muffled response as he crouched beside the briefcase, his pulse pounding. The man they had stopped was trembling, his eyes darting wildly. I swear I didn't know. I was just paid to bring it here," he stammered. Michael wasn't interested in excuses. He grabbed the man by the front of his suit and pulled him closer, his voice dangerously low. "Who sent you?" The man swallowed hard, his Adam's apple bobbing. "I don't know his real name. They just call him—" A loud pop in the distance cut him off. It wasn't an explosion, but it was enough to send another wave of panic through Michael. He didn't have time for half-truths. "Greg, get him out of here," Michael ordered. "Lock him down somewhere secure." Greg hauled the man away, but Michael's focus remained on the briefcase. He wasn't an explosives expert, but he had been in enough high-risk situations to know one thing. Whatever was inside had been meant to send a message. The ballroom doors burst open as the guests streamed out, confusion and fear on their faces. Michael's eyes scanned the crowd until he spotted his brother, Danny, gripping Charlotte's hand. Their expressions mirrored the chaos, but there was something else in Charlotte's eyes. Not just fear, recognition. Michael's stomach turned. He moved quickly, weaving through the crowd until he reached them. "Do you know something about this?" he asked Charlotte, keeping his voice steady. She hesitated for only a moment, but that was enough. "Charlotte," Danny said, his grip tightening on her hand. "What's going on?" Charlotte's eyes darted around as if searching for an escape. I didn't think he would come this far," she whispered, barely audible. Michael felt a cold certainty settle in his chest. This wasn't random. This wasn't just someone trying to disrupt a wedding. This was personal. "Who?" he pressed. Charlotte looked at Danny, her face full of regret. "I was in trouble before I met you," she admitted. "I owed someone, a dangerous someone. I thought I could walk away, but he doesn't let people walk away." Michael exhaled sharply. "And now he's here." Charlotte nodded, her voice trembling. "If he sent that briefcase, it's a warning. He's not done." Michael didn't hesitate. "Then we end it before he gets the chance." A new kind of urgency filled him. Whoever was behind this had already crossed a line, and Michael Carter didn't let threats go unanswered. Michael's mind raced as he processed Charlotte's words. This wasn't just about the briefcase or the wedding. It was a calculated move by someone who wanted to send a message. But Michael Carter wasn't the kind of man to sit back and wait for the next blow. If this person thought they could intimidate his family, they had severely underestimated him. He turned to Greg, who had just returned from securing the man they had caught. "Find out everything you can about Charlotte's past connections," Michael ordered. "I want names, locations, everything." Greg nodded without hesitation. "Already on it." Charlotte's hands were trembling as she clutched Danny's arm. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, her eyes welling with tears. "I thought I left it all behind. I didn't want this to touch you." Danny shook his head and pulled her close. "You don't have to go through this alone." Michael watched them for a moment, his jaw tight. His brother had always been the softer one, the one who believed in the good in people. But Michael knew better. Sometimes, the only way to protect the people you loved was to face the danger, head on. His phone buzzed. It was Greg. "We found something," he said. "The guy Charlotte owed money to? His name is Vincent Russo. Runs a loan shark operation, but he's got connections to organized crime. He doesn't just collect debts, he ruins lives. And get this, he's here. Somewhere in the city." Michael's grip on his phone tightened. Find him? It didn't take long. With the kind of resources Michael had at his disposal, Vincent Russo couldn't hide for long. Hours later, Michael found himself in a dimly lit hotel lounge, staring across the table at the man who had threatened his family. Vincent was older, with sharp eyes that studied Michael like he was trying to figure out how much of a threat he truly was. He smirked. "I was wondering when we'd finally meet." Michael didn't waste time with small talk. "Whatever debt Charlotte had, it's done. You don't come near her again." Vincent chuckled, leaning back in his chair. "You think money solves everything, don't you, Carter?" He shook his head. "See, it's not just about the money. It's about power. If I let one person walk away, what stops the next?" Michael met his gaze without flinching. "I do." The weight behind those two words was undeniable. Vincent's smirk faltered just slightly. Michael leaned in. "You made a mistake coming after my family. If you don't walk away now, you won't like what happens next." A long silence stretched between them. Then Vincent exhaled, tapping, his fingers against the table. "Fine," he finally said. "She's off my list." But his eyes darkened. "You won this round, Carter. Just remember, there's always another game." Michael didn't respond. He had gotten what he came for, and that was enough. For now. Back at the wedding venue, the chaos had settled. Charlotte was safe, and Danny was by her side, his hand never leaving hers. As Michael stepped outside, the night air was cool, carrying with it a strange sense of finality. He had done what he always did, protected his family, no matter the cost. Greg approached, handing him a small envelope. "This was left for you." Michael opened it, scanning the single sentence inside. "You won this time. But we're not done."